Okay, so I was saying, so we would multiply, you end up multiplying the opposite fraction by the denominator, so 3 times 3. That's the easy way to do it. The next one, 2 by 2. Okay, so we're going to do the same, a similar thing here. All right, so we have to come up with a common denominator. Okay, so what does this fraction have, this denominator, that this one does not? What does this denominator have that this one does not? An a squared. Okay, so we're missing an a squared on here. So we're going to multiply this one by a squared, top and bottom. I don't know why I start with such a hard one. It's actually a little bit more difficult. Okay, so we want to, and when we're dealing with rational expressions, a fraction we're adding and subtracting, we want to have both the numbers and the variables the same. Okay, so we want the numbers, I'm not just, don't skip ahead by the way, we have to multiply more than the a squared. Okay, so we want to have the same numbers in the denominator and the same letters with the same exponents. Okay, so essentially we're making them like terms. Okay, so what would it be a common number for the denominator? What would be a common one? 20, okay? So 20 is the easiest one to use. So we want to get these both to 20. So we're going to multiply this one by 5. So we're going to multiply the numerator by 5a squared and the denominator by 5a squared. Okay, now let's look at the first denominator. What does it not have that the second one does? Sorry. What does the, or let me say, what does the second one have that the first one does not? Remember? Sorry? The b squared, okay? So we have a squared here, but we only have a b here. So what do we need to multiply this by to make it the same? A b. Okay, so we're going to multiply this one by b, numerator and denominator. Okay, and we also said that it needs to be 20. Okay, so our coefficient needs to be 20. So what do we have to multiply it by? 2. Okay, so we're multiplying the numerator by 2b and the denominator by 2b. Okay, so in the numerator, 13 times 2b is 26b. And then we'll have at the bottom 20 a squared b squared. So 10 times 2 is 20. Carry down the a squared. B times b is b squared. Plus, so we have 11 times 5a squared gives you 55a squared. And now the denominator is the same, 20a squared b squared. Okay, so again, when we're dealing with fractions, you multiply the opposite side by the denominators. So here, your next step would be 3 plus 4 is 7, and then you keep the same denominator. You don't add the denominators together, right? So it's just 6. So these two denominators become 1. So here is the same denominators, it becomes 1. So 20a squared b squared. And then we add the numerators, but they're not like terms. Okay, they're not like terms, so we're just going to carry them down. So 26b plus 55a squared. And just to make it more correct, put them in order. If you didn't, I'd be okay with it, but some teachers aren't. And then that's it. Okay, so we didn't have a common denominator, so we made it a common denominator. Add the numerators. Actually, one more step. What was the last step? Or second last step? Before the one I added. Restrictions, okay? So what A can be? What can't A be here? A cannot equal 0, good. And same with the B. B cannot be 0. Okay, because it's all multiplication. So if you add a 0 in here, it all becomes 0. Questions? For those at home, if there's any time that you can't see because of the glare, please let me know, and I'll bring the camera towards the board. Okay, what I would suggest for you guys is anytime you have two terms in numerators and denominators, put brackets around them. Okay, so when we have the binomials or trinomials, put brackets around them, and you'll see why. Okay, so remember when we're adding or subtracting fractions, this addition would do subtraction here, that we're always multiplying the common denominators, right? So we're always multiplying here, okay? Because often students, what they'll do is, this is x minus 3, this is x plus 2, they'll try to add or subtract a number to get these the same, okay, and that won't work. But what you're actually doing, you have to multiply. So we're multiplying this bracket by this bracket, okay, so we're gonna multiply them together. So this one has an x minus 3, this one has an x plus 2. So to make this the same, we're gonna have both the brackets in the denominator. So we're gonna multiply this one by x plus 2 on the top and bottom, in the numerator and denominator. So just like we did here, for this example and its fractions, we multiply the opposite fraction by 3. So is this denominator, we multiply by 3. So this denominator is x plus 2, so we're multiplying the numerator and denominator by x plus 2. Okay? And then the second fraction, so here 2 over 3, we multiplied it by the first fraction's denominator. So we took the 2 and multiplied them both by 2. So we do that the same here. So this is x minus 3. We're multiplying this by x minus 3. Put over here. So I'm not going to expand yet. So what I get in the first fraction is x plus 5 times x plus 2 all over x minus 3, x plus 2. plus our second fraction. Our numerator is x minus 7, x plus x minus